All right, folks, we're going to call the Cumberland County Salary Board meeting to action or to order here and begin with a roll call.
Commissioner Nieder.
Here.
Commissioner Bocci.
I'm here.
Commissioner Eichelberger.
Present.
And Controller Whitcomb.
Here.
I will open up the floor to public comment. Is there anyone in the room wishing to make a comment before the salary board at this time? Or is there anyone online, Audrey, that is indicating they wish to make public comment at this time?
I'm showing one individual online, but I'm not seeing a comment.
If the individual online wanted to make comment at this time, please use the raise your hand feature. All right, hearing none, we will move forward with the approval of the minutes.
I'll make a motion in the minutes.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Next is the approval of salary board actions.
I'll make a motion to approve the salary board actions as provided.
I'll second. It's moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Is there any other business to come before the salary board at this time?
We are showing a public comment at this time. I don't know.
It's up to you. I would recommend that you do.
Okay, if someone would like to, someone online wanted to make public comment, please feel free to join and identify yourself and do so.
Yes, do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, this is Dave Terracchio. I'd like to comment on the recent incident regarding Pennsylvania American Water, which I'm sure all of us have been impacted by. Pennsylvania American Water likes to advertise, "We keep life flowing." And unfortunately, last Friday, life did not keep flowing with water. And consumers in the West Shore did not have safe and reliable utility service for Pennsylvania American Water. Now, this incident apparently occurred on Friday, this past Friday, and when consumers eventually became aware that there was a boil water advisory, but was not communicated in an effective, efficient manner, was the fact that many of the Pennsylvania American Water customers did not have water to boil at all, and no water, period. No water pressure. And Pennsylvania American Water did not have a tool to capture the fact that there was no water pressure at all for many of the consumers. Now, no water pressure is much different than a boil water advisory. No water pressure presents a whole another level of seriousness than a boil water advisory. If there had been a major fire, the wire hydrants in the area would not have worked. How quickly were the local fire departments notified of this situation, that there was no water pressure, and how would they know where that issue existed? Number two, no water pressure, of course, presents a health hazard for all the consumers, especially with regard to sewage and not able to flush a toilet. So what did we learn from this incident? I'm not sure we're learning anything, but we need to. First, American Water apparently does have issues regarding its ability to maintain and quickly respond to a water main break. How do you let a whole reservoir of water empty if you got technology in place to identify this quickly? Two, Pennsylvania American Water had no efficient manner in which to identify customers with no water pressure at all. Its website and its phone system is designed to only report leaks, but not designed to report no water pressure at all. It's sad to think that if someone intentionally wanted to impact the water system of Pennsylvania American Water, there are obviously many weak points present. And unfortunately, Cumberland County commissioners did not issue an emergency declaration until Saturday, hours after this issue existed. So there are issues with the emergency preparedness plan. Maybe it needs to be reviewed. And I hope that there will be attention given to finding out what we can learn from this event and prevent a serious recurrence of such a situation. I respectfully thank you for your patience and listening to me. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Did you want to make anyone want to make a response to that?
I'm kind of torn on this because I don't speak for Pennsylvania American Water. I mean, that's my first thought on that. So I really cannot comment to how they handled things. I think this gentleman, I think if he was interested, we could connect him with someone at PA American Water if he has not already spoken with them to talk about his concerns. We certainly have a timeline on when we were notified of things and the time that we did the emergency declaration. But I believe we were alerted of the issue and it was almost midnight Friday night. So doing that emergency declaration on Saturday seemed to be the appropriate, I think we were in the appropriate timeline, but I don't speak for PA American Water. The board does not speak for PA American Water.
No, but I will speak for our Department of Public Safety, Mr. Trico, and they were involved in this matter and had informed fire companies, and to the best of our knowledge, and we had some calls with PA American Water where they were systematically shutting down different portions of their system to identify the leak. They had a very difficult time identifying the leak, and it took much longer, but they were keenly aware of the water pressure issues, as our Department of Public Safety had to be in action related to making sure that the healthcare facilities in the county were maintained, and the hospitals in particular, and that the fire companies were aware of the lack of access to the hydrants in certain areas. So it was a very fluid, no pun intended, situation, and quite honestly, the water stations were set up, I believe, relatively promptly, considering the timeline of events, and distributions there were largely successful. I know it's not a situation anyone wanted to encounter, but quite honestly, I was pleased with the actions of our public safety response team.
I would add to that when the fire companies were notified that the hydrants, that there was no water pressure, then they bring water with them if there's a fire emergency. They're prepared to bring tankers full of water to put a fire out. So there were lots of things in place to assist.
That the general public may not have been aware. So, Mr. Trico, I appreciate your comments. Gary, did you have anything you wanted to talk about?
I think you've covered it very nicely.
Okay, thank you. If there are no other comments, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn from the salary board meeting. We are adjourned from salary board, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We will call the Board of Commissioners meeting to order and begin with the roll call, please.
Commissioner Nieder,
Here.
Commissioner Fauci,
I'm here.
Commissioner Howard.
Is there any other public comment on non-agenda items now for the Board of Commissioners? No one in the room? Is there anyone online? Please use the raise your hand feature if so.
Showing no comment.
No comment? Okay, thank you. And we are going to kick off this meeting with a round of recognition for long-term staff here at the county. And that would be Sue Carval. So I'm going to just say a few words and then we'll bring you up here for the pictures. For those of you who don't know, Sue Carval has been working for the county for 26 years as the Director of Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities and Early Intervention. Through her years, she served in many roles as the Supports Coordinator Director, Supports Coordinator Supervisor, and Supports Coordinator, and all within the same department. And Sue has cherished her time working with the IDD task force, which included families, providers, and community stakeholders. And that team worked together to develop new programs and supports for individuals with intellectual disabilities and autism. In addition, Sue worked on developing programs and services to increase employment opportunities for individuals with disabilities, increased Cumberland and Perry County's residential services, and supported employment through the Pathways Academy, which is an independent living program. She's also very proud of bringing Project Search to Cumberland County, which is an internship program which will allow individuals to learn job skills throughout the county government. And having participated in that program in my prior role as treasurer, I know it was a tremendous experience for my staff as well as the intern, and really lovely experience for all. And so, Sue, thank you for everything you have done during your tenure. We appreciate it and very much want to thank you for all of it.
It's been, let me say, quite the ride.
All right. Want to get some pictures for that?
So I've got.
Okay, so yeah.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
They just come back looking happy retired.
No, Cumberland County is a great place to work, so don't forget it.
All right, I'm gonna take a couple, all right? Okay, we're good, thank you.
Thank you.
Sue? Yes.
Oh, cool. Yes. We matched today. We did not plan this. It's so wonderful working with you, Sue. Yeah. Okay, I'll see you a little bit later.
All right. Well, the good stuff's over. Get into the consent agenda.
So I will say that I have been in denial of Sue's retirement, and I guess now it's real, it's happening. Tomorrow is the last day. I'll stay in denial, but I know the department will be in good hands with Mark. Mark and I will work well as a team as well. So commissioners, that does take us then to the consent agenda. So a list of routine items that do not appear to be controversial in nature, which seem to not require any additional discussion. Now would be the time for anyone to request any of the items, agenda items 5 through 14, to be pulled from the consent agenda for discussion. Hearing none and seeing none, commissioners, I would request approval of the consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
Seconded, all in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you.
And that takes us then to the regular agenda which is a list of items that are non-routine and that will be discussed and may be acted upon individually. And we'll start with discussion and approval of a letter of support for Bosler Library. And we have Jeff Swift here to discuss that. Come, Bosler.
Stay here or should I come up?
Whichever you prefer.
All right, well, I have a pretty good sight line, so
Okay.
So, good morning. Thank you for considering this. We're asking for a letter of support for the project that is being offered through let me get the wording of this right. The Digital Connectivity Technology Program, which is part of the Pennsylvania Broadband Development Authority, which is part of the state's Department of Community and Economic Development. It is a grant opportunity that allows many different types of organizations, libraries, schools, municipalities, workforce training programs, nonprofits, and other anchor institutions to apply for this grant to receive actual technology. So this is not money that we would be receiving. We would be receiving actual laptops, so actual equipment through this project. And we have the ability to ask for anywhere between 20 and 200 laptops. And so we are requesting 30 through this grant so that we can replace our very old laptop lab, which is used to do a lot of different types of programs, from digital literacy programs to research skill development for youth, to tax assistance in partnership with the Capital Area United Way. And so one of the requirements is that our municipality give us a letter of support. So we're requesting that today. Thank you.
Any questions for Jeff?
I'm familiar with the grant. I'm so happy that you're applying for this, and think that they would be put to great use at the Bosler Library.
We appreciate that.
Is anyone willing to make a motion, or if there
For approval.
I second.
It's moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Great, thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff. Thank you, commissioners. That takes us then to agenda item 16, which is discussion and approval for the Department of Public Safety to accept donations from the entities listed on the agenda for the 2024 LEPC Summit. And we have James Brandt here on Zoom rather, to discuss. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Department of Public Safety is asking for the Board of Commissioners approval to receive sponsorship money to be used in offsetting the expenses to host the annual LEPC Summit in October. As most know, this one-day conference brings together county facilities, emergency management, first responders, local state government, and more, allowing all to interact to be better prepared for an emergency. The Summit Planning Committee has received payments from Kent Fire Protection, Lewis Environmental, and Glick Fire Equipment in the amount of $500 each for silver sponsorship levels, and payments received from Penn State Health and Cargill Camp Hill in the amount of $250 each for bronze levels. The approval of these 5 sponsors brings our current number to 9, with total sponsorship funds to $4,500. We appreciate these agencies supporting the LEPC mission. And again, we ask for your approval to accept the sponsorship money to be applied towards the summit. Thank you.
Any questions?
No, I do not have any.
I move to approve.
Second.
It's moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, James.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Bethany Salzarolo joining us on Zoom to discuss the election systems and software contract for the Bureau of Elections and also to seek approval. Good morning, Bethany.
Good morning, everyone. I'm asking for your approval today for the purchase of 20 additional voting machines ahead of the 2024 general election.
Any questions for Bethany?
No. I'll move to approve.
Second.
It's moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
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 Thanks,
Thank you.
Bethany. Commissioners. That takes us then to discussion and approval of contracts for children and youth services. And we have Jamie Ryber joining us to discuss and seek approval. Good morning.
Good morning. The first one I have is for language service associates. They provide our translation services, both in person and of our documents that go out to families who are unable to read the documents that we already have in English. They do not have many increases. Their mileage is increasing to the federal rate. And they have another one that's increasing 66%. However, we do not actually use that service. The rest are remaining the same as last year, and we did remove a couple of services from the contract. The second one is for Presley Ridge. They provide foster care and parenting services. Their parenting services are increasing 3%, and their foster care services are increasing minimal under 1% for each of those. We do use their parenting service as a diversionary program. So some of those cases that are less severe that come in, we're able to refer them to this program and not have to open the case up. They are adding enhanced assessments and a clinical support coordinator for the complex youth that we are seeing in our programs, and also providing additional trainings to both their foster parents and their staffs regarding cultural diversity, family engagement, trauma-informed care. Are there any questions?
The language translation services are something we're starting to see across every service at the county. So certainly understand. Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Thanks,
Thank you.
Jamie. Okay, that takes us to agenda item 19, which Eric Radovich is joining us online to discuss the Thermoelectron North America contract for FID. Morning, Eric.
Good morning, commissioners. I seek approval for the contract it's a service contract for all the instrumentation of the laboratory. It's a dollar figure of $106,698, $89, I'm sorry, and 5 cents.
Any questions, commissioners?
Eric, what was that number again?
What I have is $106,689.05.
That's not the amount that was included on the cover sheet. That amount is $124,689.
Okay, so that means finance added so I have the original amount of the I apologize. I have the original amount of the contract. Finance wanted to add $20,000 onto the contract for consumables to be able to allow us to provide to purchase consumables under this contract. I didn't realize you had that on your paperwork. I apologize.
So just to clarify, it's the instrumentation service plan, and that is the amount that you provided, but it's also consumable purchase, which is why the amount on the paperwork we have is slightly higher.
Correct.
Okay. Any additional questions, commissioners?
No, and that is noted on the form, just not broken down.
Right.
So thank you for that clarity.
I'm sorry about that.
I will move to approve.
I'll say.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Just keeps us on our toes here on a Thursday morning. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you, commissioners.
That takes us then to agenda item 20, and we have Ryan Simon joining us online to discuss the contracts for drug and alcohol. Good morning, Ryan.
Good morning. Our first contract is with Here Incorporated. They do business as Gatehouse. They have 3 locations in Lancaster County where they provide 3.1 level of care that used to be called a halfway house. They're asking for a 9% increase, 15% increase, and 20% increase. Those increases are related to salaries and benefit increased costs, as well as just general other operating expenses. The second contract is with Pyramid Healthcare. They have 9 different locations that we contract with. The Bellevue location provide what used to be called rehab is now 3.5. They're asking for a 5% increase. Duncansville, they provide a 3.7 withdrawal management, 3.5, 3.5 enhanced, 3.7, and 3.7 enhanced. And they're asking for increases of between 3 and 20%. Again, that is because salary and benefit increase costs, as well as other operating costs, including insurance costs, have gone up. Gratitude House is a 3.1. They're asking for an 8% increase. Hillside provides 3.7 withdrawal management, 3.5, 3.5 enhanced, and 3.7. And they're asking for increases of between 14 and 9%. Again, same reasons. Langhorne, they provide 3.5 and 3.7 withdrawal management, asking for increases of 10 and 21%. Same reasons. Pine Ridge Manor, they provide 3.1 level of care, asking for a 16% increase. Quakertown, they provide 3.5, asking for a 9% increase. Tradition House is a 3.1, asking for a 15% increase. And then their York location, they provide 3.7 withdrawal management and 3.5, and asking for 10 and 12% increases. All of these rates have been reviewed and approved by the Home Drug and Alcohol Commission. And we only pay if we have someone going to those locations for those services. Any questions?
I'm sorry, did you already get the Roxbury?
I skipped that.
We did, Ryan.
UHS, they're asking for a 4% increase on their 3.5 enhanced.
Okay, thank you. And just to reiterate, and I know for general consumption here, we continue to see rate increases across most programs like this in the 4, and this is now 4 to 21% range. It's just an issue that is not going away. The costs of what we're seeing as we prepare for budgeting into 2025. So after that comment, I'll entertain a motion.
I second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan. Thank you. That takes us to agenda item 21, which is discussion and approval of the contracts and grants for MHIDD. And we have Mark Evans here in the room to discuss.
Morning, Commissioners. We have 9 contracts to go over today. The first 2 are DI. These are all state-funded contracts. The first contract is for Easter Seals of Western PA. This is a new and a renewal of for fiscal year 24-25 with the $3,000 increase. Tummy Time Academy, this is the new contract for 24-25. This is getting us access to more OT and PT services. United Cerebral, these are all the IDD. United Cerebral Palsy, amendment for 23-24 with $193,449 increase. This was due to additional services. The ARC of Cumberland, Perry County, we had a decrease of $83,082 for fiscal year 24-25. That is based on authorized services. Fellow nurses, this is a new and renewal with a $4,687 increase. For in-home and community supports, Bloom Human Services. This is also renewal and new contract for 24-25 with a $25,549 decrease. Keystone Service Systems, a new contract for 24-25. I believe this is a short-term situation that we're working through for $35,219. United Bowl Cerebral Palsy, new and renewal for 24-25 with a $42,454 increase. And Rapid Transit, new and renewal for 24-25 with a $4,576 decrease. And I believe Annie Strike will be doing the mental health portion.
Okay, and there she is. So Annie, do you want to, the last contract there?
Yes, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Commissioners, we are looking to put in a grant proposal to the Office of Mental Health and Substance Use Services. Since the late 1980s through the 1990s till now, the state has offered these grant proposals for counties. Back in the early days, they referred to it as right-sizing state hospitals. It's a mechanism that the state has used to implement the Olmstead Plan. So the Supreme Court decision that basically said that you can't keep people in state institutions when there are opportunities in the communities to support them better. For years, we've done CHIP proposals, and typically there is the request of bed reduction, so use at the state hospital. We have requested in our proposal, our proposed proposal, to exempt that bed reduction because of our population growth, specifically in Cumberland County. So we are requesting a grant for 3 CHIPs, which would equate to $80,000 per person in startup, which would be annualized at $160,000 per person. So the total, I believe the agenda before you says $240,000. It would actually be annualized at $480,000. So if the state were to approve it, we would be adding about $480,000 to our annualized operating budget. And again, if the state approves it, we would be then supporting our community infrastructure and not reducing our bed capacity at Danville State Hospital. So just making sure you have every important piece of that conversation there. The proposals are due Friday, the 16th. So if you will give us your permission, we will submit that to the state and we'll see if they support it.
Annie, in your experience, how much do they really rely on there being bed reduction in authorizing these grants? And I think you're making a great argument with the growth in our county and the growth in demand for services.
We have been successful in the past, requesting CHIP and not needing to reduce our bed capacity. And I think our concern is, we have wait lists in many of our programs in the community, as well as the fact that the state has not provided cost of living adjustments for these dollars. So for proposals that we received in like the year 2000, that have been operating for 24 years with no cost of living adjustments, that becomes difficult for us to continue to, as you mentioned earlier, our expenses are growing faster than our revenue. And so for us, we're looking at mechanisms to be able to appropriately adjust revenue to match those expenses. And we'll see what happens. That's sort of where we're at with this, but we would appreciate your support in our submitting this proposal.
Appreciate the work you're doing to try and get this balanced out. So thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions surrounding the lengthy list for MH and IDD? And we welcome you, Mark, on your first go round here. So.
Chair's not even cold. Keith, can these all be done together? Yes. Okay. I'll move for approval of the contracts as outlined.
A second. It's moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. 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 Thank you all.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Annie. Thank you, commissioners. And that takes us to That takes us to agenda item 22. We have Elizabeth Grant joining us on Zoom to discuss the HRG contract addendum. Morning, Elizabeth.
Good morning. We have for your consideration a contract addendum for HRG, Herbert, Roland, and Grubik, for the performance of project coordination and technical assistance regarding best management practices, projects on 3 farms. The scope would include post-award project schedule management, site visits and technical coordination, payment processing requests, and also grant reporting assistance. This would be an increase of $17,850 payable on a reimbursement basis from National Fish and Wildlife Service.
Any questions for Elizabeth?
Me, I will move to approve.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you, Elizabeth. We have Bob Chively joining us online to discuss the contract addendum for public safety. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning. Morning, Commissioners. Requesting your approval of a contract addendum with the Entrado Life and Safety Solutions Corporation in the amount of $9,086.31. This extends our text to 911 services through September 30th of 2024 until we can achieve full implementation and transition to our new phone system being installed as part of the statewide 911 Next Generation project with PEMA. The text to 911 services are included as part of the new phone system, but this bridges the gap until we're up and running with the new stuff. Any questions?
That means the phone system implementation is on target, right?
Correct.
Perfect.
They're working today, so.
Perfect. Entertain a motion.
I'll move for approval.
A second. Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
That takes us to agenda item 24, which is discussion and approval of the optical storage solutions and incorporated contract addendum for the recorder of deeds. We have Tammy Shear here to discuss.
We are trying to implement a records alert system, which is through Optical Storage Solutions, which is LandX, our land records software company. For the first year, the implementation is $6,000 and the software maintenance agreement is $2,000. Next year, the software maintenance will be prorated once we get this up and running. So for the first year, it'd be $8,000 and every year following $2,000 with the exception of next year, which will be prorated. This is coming from the Recorder of Deeds Record Improvement Account, so it's not coming from the general fund. So I'd like to ask for approval of the contract.
Any questions for Tammy?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Tammy.
Yes, Tammy. Okay, that takes us to our last but not least contract discussion, which is the approval of a contract addendum for the tax assessment office. And we have our chief assessor, Kathy Waters, here to discuss.
Good morning. This is an addendum to the contract that was made September 24th of 2018. It's for Sean Schultz, our Board of Assessment solicitor. The contract amount is currently at $42,000 annually, which hasn't been increased since 2018. We're requesting the increase to $72,000 annually effective January 1st, 2025. Sean reviews our appeals and he appears at court hearings. He's involved in all the court hearings and is constantly in negotiations with other attorneys to settle the cases. He works approximately, in an average of 20 hours a week. This adjustment will align his compensation with other solicitors in the county who are compensated for their working part-time. It will also compensate him for the workload he carries and address cost of living since 2018. Thank you.
Any questions for Kathy? Okay.
I'll move for approval.
I second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
All right, Commissioners, that takes us then to agenda item 26, which is Commissioner's liaison reports and Commissioner Niederer. So
Kick it off. Well, I wanted to extend a thank you to our public safety. I know they were working overtime this weekend in managing many facets of issues related to that water main break. And I think they did a really commendable job. It was a difficult situation. I know PA Water wished they had been able to resolve it sooner. They were working incredibly hard in trying to make that happen, but I learned a lot about water pressure and holding tanks and just their whole mechanisms over the weekend. So thank you to all the team at Public Safety. Over the past 2 weeks, I attended a coffee and connections for the CREDIC event over in Harrisburg. It was held in a beautiful space that is now going to be occupied by Team PA. It was formerly a law office in Strawberry Square. So it was nice to see that space and know where they're going to be located. Additionally, I attended the CCAP conference on Sunday and Monday in Gettysburg. It's always interesting when you're around the commissioners from other counties to hear what issues they're dealing with versus what we have going here in Cumberland. Commissioner Fasci and I visited Shippensburg Produce and Outreach and the Coy Library, and I have to say I'm a lifelong resident of Cumberland County, and I did not know the Shippensburg Produce and Outreach program functioned. It is a food pantry, and they're going to be here next month as we honor that work. It was astounding the number of families and the increase in need that they're seeing, and all that they were doing. It was incredible. We had our Ag Land Preservation Board meeting yesterday. The farms that go through this process of being preserved take quite a while. So 2022 is now closed out. 2023 of the farms that were approved, we have 2 of 13 have settled. So I know that the team is still working to get those in line. They were allocating into the 2024 farms, and it looks like they will be preserving 5 farms that have been targeted for that preservation. And there will be adequate funding for all of those farms. I believe one, I don't like to put too much out there ahead of the game, but one will be one of the largest farms that they've preserved yet. Of note also during that meeting was the annual inspection summary. So we had a newer employee to the group, Nate Bard, who did a really wonderful job. They had inspected 198 farms of the 216. And I'm sorry, they inspected 216. 198 farms are in full compliance with the program, which was wonderful. 6 farms needed a deed correction, 13 farms needed to update their conservation plan, and 2 farms had some other violations. One has already been remediated, and they're working through the other. So while this farmland preservation, some people think it's a set it and forget it kind of program, it is not. It requires active engagement by the staff, and they do a great job at it. So that was the primary, some of the primary items. If you want any more information, reach out to Stephanie, and she has great minutes that will be summarized. And then this morning at 7:30, I attended the planning committee meeting. There was a plan from Hampton Township that was pulled from the agenda. There was some outreach that indicated they wanted more that more information needed to be provided before that plan was reviewed. So that was taken off of the agenda. 2 other items for Hampton Township were approved related to a parcel that sits directly behind the Wegmans and is along the stream back there. It was really correcting, I guess, some of the blips in the zoning map and adjusting their comprehensive plan. Additionally, a zoning map change was approved for Shippensburg Borough, and an ASA inclusion in South Newton Township. One of the highlights of the meeting was the comprehensive plan that Kirk unveiled. And we will be, it was recommended to be submitted to us. This plan is going to be very different than what was done before, but I'm incredibly impressed by it. It really defines pretty succinctly, what responsible planning looks like in Cumberland County. And it also helps to create some great conformity along with the municipalities. It's clear, concise, in a very condensed format, and it's very appealing. So I know I'm teeing it up for the excitement. I think it's under 100 pages, if I remember correctly. So it's not a hugely lengthy enterprise that we will take on in reviewing. The other item of note, again, all the minutes are available on our website. But Steve Hoffman continues to deal with plans and reviewing related to solar and solar requirements and solar amendments to ordinances. And again, I just want to give a shout out to Steve and Kirk. They do a great job of providing sample ordinances and just guidance. And it's not saying to the municipalities, here is what you need to do. It's a real conversation about what the municipality wants to achieve. And our team just helps them get that accomplished. So that is it for me.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Fauci.
Well, good morning, everyone. I would remind you to use the Cumberland County Library System. It's just spectacular. And when Commissioner Nieder and we visited Coy Library, and they have they've got lots of Harry Potter exhibits going on, including taking a selfie at platform 9 3/4. So stop. I know it was super fun.
We were pushing the cart.
Super fun. So, and there's plenty of spectacular things going on at all of our libraries. So I would encourage you to stop by. On August 5th, I went to the United States Army War College for their class of 2024 opening day ceremony. What a spectacular event. But the music, the musicianship, the the military discipline, it really was amazing. If you ever get to go to that, go to it. It is really spectacular. August 9th had a special meeting. And the special meeting was so that we could very quickly amend the TIP to include $3.2 million worth of federal money for some projects in the region. So for some transportation projects, that was really important, and having an additional $3.2 million is very, very important. There's a couple of interesting things going on at HATS. You can go to talkpatransportation.com and look at the 12-year program process for transportation. So that's one place to go, one website to go to. And the other place you can go, and this is the HATS 2050 Regional Transportation Plan. It's underway. You can go to the HATS website and take the survey and be a part of programming transportation for the next 2050 is a long way away. I'm thinking about how old I'll be in 2050. For the next 25 years, it's super important. I know. I did the same thing. I was like, oh wow. So those are good things to do. Last night, I delivered to Mayor Tammy Daly of Shiremanstown our proclamation for their birthday celebration this weekend. If you can get to Shiremanstown on Friday night or Saturday afternoon, they have spectacular things planned for this weekend. So she was so generous with me yesterday. She owns a beautiful historical home in Shiremanstown. It was like, come on in to see this house. Like it was really nice. It was very generous, but it really is a piece of Shiremanstown history, and that was very kind of her. So the library board did not meet, the Western COG did not meet. So that is the end of my update, but I will be, loaded for bear next time.
Thanks for the forewarning. We'll move on to Commissioner.
Okay, just taking a couple of items. Similarly, a lot of the boards are not meeting in August, so that doesn't mean our departments are busy, but less meeting activity to report out on. Let's see here. Let's give a little start to recycling. The recycling authority meeting, she's scheduled for Monday night, is not taking place. But they've got plenty going on. Of course, Saturday's the household hazardous waste event. Those continue to be very successful. Still a few registration spots open. If anybody has paint or any other of the listed items, you can check out the summary on the county webpage. And that's a nice opportunity to clean out the garage a bit and make sure that it's done in a way that's responsible for our environment. The only other item that's really on the board for recycling, of course, is, and I think you guys are mostly looped in on a lot of this, but the yard waste recycling issue continues to work for resolution. The judge sent me a copy of a memorandum that he circulated to all the involved municipalities to kind of give them an update, so everybody's on the same page. And I can share this in detail with the rest of you if you haven't gotten it, but the grinder in question that we've had the issues with is essentially repaired at this point. They're going to have an opportunity for any interested municipalities as well as us to go observe it in action to ensure that it's all ready to get back to work, and that any new owner can feel satisfied that what they're getting is working piece of equipment that will do the job. So the I believe the date on most of the rest of this. We did provide, the judge provided a historical program cost outline to all the member municipalities so they get a sense of what the previous 5-year cost of the program is, if they're going to inherit the program, and they continue to make progress on that. Hampton Township, of course, has taken the lead on trying to transfer the program as intact as possible to them in anticipation of a new authority being assembled. That's going to take some time, so Hampton's willingness to step in could prove pivotal for the successful continuity of the program. My understanding is, as of this morning, that South Middleton, which had provided a proposal, has now withdrawn that proposal. So I think we are narrowing the field toward a resolution here pretty quickly, and hopefully with this little disruption as possible. A number of the municipalities, as I reported last time, have gone a contract grinder route for now. It's a very expensive option for them, but it's helping them kind of clear their backlog of material for this year, and that will put them in a much better position. I know some of the municipalities had to reach pretty far into the pocket to get that, so they will be very anxious to see full resolution of the program in a manner that's cost effective for the municipalities. But there is, of course, as I'm noting here, a lot of progress being made on that, a lot of steps ahead, but I think we're starting to see that a long-term solution is possible, and the interim solutions are taking shape as well. So that is as good a news as it's going to get on this issue. Obviously, there was a considerable amount of disruption, but I think we're past the hard part now, hopefully. Judd said he also provided a list of the companies that are doing grinding to all the municipalities, so those who may have a resolution still outstanding at least have knowledge on where they can go to get at least a temporary, if expensive, resolution. So we can continue moving forward. Also on the MHIDD side, we have, of course, still got a little bit of the expertise in the room. If there's anything that needs added, can do that. That's right. Wanted to mention too, because it cuts across the different human services, that the human services block grant hearings are underway. First one was held down the road here at the Star facility. That was on the 12th, 10 a.m. The 19th is the next one. It's at New Bloomfield with the Perry County Commissioner's Office hosting. And the final one is the 21st, and that is here. So that's available by Zoom as well. Obviously, looking for input. Public testimony is welcome, 3 to 5 minutes. is what's allowed, written copy requested. Again, information on the website for anybody who wants. And Sue, did you have anything or Mark to add in regards to any of that?
No, I don't think, not to the human service plan, so.
Okay, good. Well, the advisory meeting today is canceled, I believe. So, so I guess you guys have the month off, right? So it continues to be a busy and challenging time. But now you folks have your clarification on the budget.
Some of it,
the
yeah.
new state budget, okay. And you sent me a quick summary, and I think I neglected to put it together here. Could you, in just a couple of seconds, summarize?
The providers get rate increases beginning October 1st. That will be retroactive to July 1st. Non-residential services are going up 8%. Residential services are going up 6%. We still do not have clarification on the waiting list initiative. We're still waiting on that.
Okay, all right.
Our providers were expecting a much larger rate increase. And I can tell you, even on our support coordination side, the initial published rates was about a 40% increase for our rate, and that has dropped down to 8% as well. The state's contracts with Mercer to do the rate study, and what I saw was 42 of the 138 service codes were the rate that ODP just came out with were below the actuarial low end value that Mercer had set. So there's a high likelihood that there's going to be mass rate appeals from our provider organizations and our advocacy organizations. Excuse me, that will be coming up.
Okay. All right, thank you both for the insights. On the MH side, just a couple of things. The LTSR long-term regional housing project continues to move forward. The committee, the steering committee for that met recently and scored the proposals. I think you may be aware of this. Of course, New Visions has been selected as the provider, and that'll be coming to the board for official action. The projected timeline for completion is September of 2025. So we'll be here before you know it. Hopefully we get another mild winter to allow construction and keep plugging away and beat the deadline. So the Crisis Walk-in Center continues to take shape. Connections, the contract provider that's going to be running that, they were in town last week. They're hiring and onboarding staff now. They had convened a number of meetings with the local inpatient providers with 911, 988, and the crisis intervention folks from both the joint programs. So that continues plugging away. Looking forward to that. Still a lot of steps to be done on that. September coming up soon, Suicide Prevention Month. Some important events associated with that. Cumberland Perry NAMI chapter will host mental health awareness walk Saturday, September 14. That walk is at 11 a.m. American Foundation for Suicide Prevention is going to host an annual walk as well, the 21st of September, Saturday. And there's registration on their website. The Suicide Prevention Task Force that we have, Pulse, is going to have a team there. And of course, we're always open to more team members and putting out a request for that. So let's see. The only other item, well, Annie Strike did give me a little bit of, Annie Huff gave me a little bit of an update up in aging. The signed contracts have come back from Bay Aging to begin the Veterans Directed Services Program. A couple of T's to cross and I's to dot, and that'll be ready to go imminently. So you're hearing more about that here soon. The bylaws revisions were adopted at the last meeting. That will move them toward a quarterly format rather than monthly. A lot of discussion about that, a lot of discussion about what issues should come to the board. Very worthwhile. Without any help, manage that discussion just expertly. I have not had a lot of experience working directly with her. I continue to borrow at the fine job she's doing there, making sure everyone's heard, but facilitating that discussion in a very forward-looking manner. So they continue to work the transition for the personal care facility. Blue Ridge, of course, is closing, and Aging is making weekly visits there to assist with the placement of those residents as that facility closes down. That's all I have for updates. I just want to add my own personal thank you to Sue for your years of service here. We've worked closely together for a long time, very responsive, and we've had great, just informal offline discussions about the issues, and have been very helpful in informing me on issues that I knew something about, but learned a lot about too, and you will be missed. But the good news, of course, Mark got the confidence of the board that our choice was very easy there. You got big shoes to fill, but I think I can speak for the board, so you have great confidence in the fact that you're the guy who's going to be leading the charge there, and I'm expecting great things. I think we have every confidence that those things are going to happen. It's Sue, your time has been marked by change and challenge, and those continue to be there. Mark, you're inheriting that now. We've got a lot of things ahead of us as a county, a growing county. There's an extraordinarily number of important issues, both on the MH side, but on the IDD side as population grows. So welcome aboard, and happy retirement to you. We'll see you later at your event today.
Thank you very much.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. That takes us to agenda item 27, which is report of executive sessions. And I would like to report that on July 31st, 2024 at 11 a.m., there was an executive session regarding personnel. And I would now ask if there is any other business to come before the board today. Hearing none, seeing none, we are